Listen, right now, as Black people, I know that after watching what happened in Tennessee, Alabama, and Virginia this week, I know that right now we are 38, 48, 58, and 68. But don't despair, because trust and know we will have our representation. We have been through worse. We've survived everything, and I mean everything that was meant to take us out. Slavery, lynchings, Jim Crow, blue magic hair grease. Because, yeah, that blue magic hair grease was not good for us. But anyways, we have survived everything that was meant to destroy us. We don't die. We just keep rising up and figuring out a way out of it. And that's what they get mad about. You know, one thing that doesn't get talked about enough is that due to integration that came after segregation in this country, there's nothing that white supremacy can build to hurt us that won't hurt them as well. So this will just be another example. So don't be surprised, MAGA, while you're celebrating, if they come for the voting rights of poor white men next. We are seeing promises by MAGA to erase all Black representation from public office, but we will have our representation. We must. It will happen. People like to get mad about identity politics, but all of voting is identity politics. Wanting to elect more women, gay people, workers, if you're MAGA, you want to elect more white supremacists to office, it's all nothing but identity politics. Identity politics is about wanting to elect someone who understands your lived life experience. And there's nothing wrong with that, because that level of understanding comes with a level of trust. And no, that trust isn't always perfect. And we are working on getting rid of those who refuse to deliver. But it's also not the same level of bullshit that we see consistently coming from white minority rule. So it's fine to be mad. We're going to feel our feelings about this, and then we will rise again. I mean, I'm already thinking of ways to out-organize what we saw yesterday. I'm already thinking about the fact that if it comes down to it, we will have our representation in every type of elected office that cannot be gerrymandered. We will show up like never before in countywide offices. Think about it this way, seats in the county where everybody in the county has to vote, and then there are no districts. There are citywide elections like that, statewide elections, national elections, like for president. And listen, I know that we have already been a community, a kind of people that already focuses on voting. We do. And we show up and we show out. But let what happened this week radicalize even more of us to be voting and voting for fighters who really are going to represent us. We can and will insist that we have representation. Now, listen, the majority of white people are still going to vote Republican in this country. They do it every election. But for the white people listening who are not with MAGA, you better realize where you have your vehicle to get what you want. And that is through making sure that Black folks do not completely lose any more of our electoral power. Because if that does happen, everyone who is not MAGA, regardless of race, will sink together. So that reminds me of a conversation I had with a big donor when I was running for lieutenant governor. He and I both cared a lot about public education, but he really didn't care for my thoughts on police. White people love the police because they've never had the experience that Black people have had with police in this country. And so we weren't even talking about policing, but he proactively brought up that he didn't think that it was a great solution to start pulling money away from policing and putting it towards things that have actually been proven to reduce crime, and also spending it on things like expanding access to healthcare and putting more money into public education. And he actually did want to see more money go to public education, but he wanted to also keep the highest levels of policing that we have going in the country. And so I responded to him by making the case that overfunding police is ineffective at reducing crime. It doesn't focus on, preventing crime. It just focuses on what happens after crime has already occurred. And also over policing just leads to a lot of violence in Black communities. And as a society, we need to start spending on real crime reduction solutions and putting our money in other areas to solve widespread societal issues like underfunded public education and access to healthcare. Like, there are so many things that we need, and we just keep spending all of our money on policing, and it's not even producing the results that we want. So in his response, he asked me, well, now, so what's in that for me as a white guy? And I said to him, let me just tell you this. Everything that you want as a white person who is not with MAGA goes directly through the Black vote and the issues that affect us the most. So let me just make you understand that, because we are the largest, most dependable base of the Democratic Party. And by far, our community's issues being run by candidates that we can identify with have to be activated in order to drive turnout in order for Dems to win. So there is nothing that you can get, whether you're turned up about public education, the environment, abortion, whatever it is that you're turned up about that conservatives won't support, you can't get any of that unless it goes through the black vote. So now, after this SCOTUS ruling, all of this will be even more relevant than ever.